probably give a bit of a rest. Good to see Michaela Bly back on the bench though. 2 days with me. And yes, New Zealand, very impressive.
New Zealand have had a brilliant day at the office. Russia have had a really, really tough day at the office. After that brilliant performance from then in Dubai, they've really tailed off. Of course, 7 changes to the squad is going to make that happen, but New Zealand a pretty disappointing tournament for them. Russia listed first in this match. Russia versus New Zealand shows that it was Russia that were the team who were top seed for this pool, but New Zealand have looked like the top seeds all day, haven't they?
Absolutely have. They've got a tough job in front of them, Russia, for this one. I'm sure those Kiwi girls there will be looking for some revenge, even though different personnel up against them. Broughton there, always a smile on her face. Of course, the very experienced Alhambra Neves taking charge of this one. Kukina pushes it right to the 22, where Nathan Wong is waiting. Brazier. And here's McAllister. Top try scorer so far, and look at that. Stepped with ease off her left foot and left Kukina in the dust. And that is how Kayla McAllister is going to start this match.
She has really come here to make a statement, Kayla McAllister, hasn't she? 7 tries already this weekend. First touch of the ball, step out, step in, pin the ears back, in under the post. I mean, it really is very impressive indeed. Nobody laid a finger on her.
Nathan Wong makes the count, 7 points to 0 now. Gee, first touch of the ball, New Zealand over. Shredded the defence.
And just what this inexperienced Russian team didn't need. They'll already be low on confidence after the first 2 games, and then to go a try down before they've even touched the ball other than the kick-off, without even laying a finger of a tackle on the opposition, that hurts.
Good high kick. Goss was under it. Left it behind, however. She won't be treating herself with a scoop of chips tonight.
No, she won't. It's very, very close though, wasn't it?
That takes a huge amount of practice to get those right with the kicker in you. You've got to be really aggressive, chasing it and in the air. So moving it to the centre where McAllister just takes her eye off the ball.
Kazakova opposite Kayla McAllister, breathing a sigh of relief there on that ball. Went to ground, you could see her beckoning inside to come and support her on the inside shoulder, and you can hardly blame her.
Kazakova, no slouch either. We've seen her score some fantastic tries.
Yeah, there's a lot on her shoulders this weekend as captain in the absence of all those big players.
And here she is here. Puts the fend on. One-on-one with McAllister. We'll call that one a draw. Coming in offside there was Kelly Brazier. So, quick tap from Lucina and a bit of ball play there. Here's Zadrokova, a new speedster debuting here in Brazil. And they're still on the attack here with Bystrova. And she dies on that sideline.
Completely outnumbered Bystrova, wasn't she? 3 New Zealand players on one, absolutely nothing she could do about that.
Tui lined up against Bankarova. Nice ball into Goss. Brazier. Pass off to McAllister. Fata Simpkins, not needed at this point. Just pulled by the collar there for sure. by Kazakova. So referee's got the advantage. Brazier puts a dance on. Decides to move it. Williams. Good pass to Goss. And here's Tui. Ruby Tui's got room to move. And very easy try for Ruby Tui, who is waiting patiently on the wing and gets the reward.
Yeah, good finish from Ruby Tui. Elena Zadrakova showed her inexperience there, not even getting the tackle. It needed to take Ruby Tui a bit lower, probably had enough space to make the tackle, but didn't. But again, New Zealand, they took the ball all the way to one side of the pitch, and with excellent handling, just brought it all the way back again. And in the end, the last pass ends up in the hands of Ruby Tui in a bit of space. Easy.
Yeah, didn't think she wanted to know Ruby Tui there, did she? Yeah, once again, slotted perfectly there for Nathan Wong. So 14 plays nil. Just easing ahead here, New Zealand.
Yeah, it's quietly efficient, this New Zealand performance, isn't it? Not really putting a foot wrong, keeping the ball in hand, moving it to the open spaces until they manage to make a gap. Russia really not having any chances at all.
Back. So that ball goes back off Bankarova. And they release it into the pocket. Kikina getting smashed by Williams. Maintain possession though, Russia. Here's Kazakova. So good work from Russia, although well behind the 22. Need to make some metres. The run by Ostrova. Kukina just trying on. Ostrova again. Kazakova. Those three just playing their own little game on that short side. Will they move it now? No, short hit instead to Hedovskaya. Kukina. Well, they've made about 4 metres. Yeah. And that spills forward. Williams is on it. She got hit from the side.
Yeah, Russia making it really difficult for themselves, not taking the ball into contact. They kept offloading. What that meant was there was no breakdown, there was no offside line. So every time they looked up to try and pass the ball back, there were New Zealand players in the way. Sometimes you've just got to take the ball forward as hard as you can, create an offside line and make the defence work hard to get back onside.
Well, Williams' mistake means Russian line-out ball. Kina throws it in. It's a long one where Brazier collects. Brazier with that fantastic left foot step. What can you do about that? She's a magician, isn't she, Kelly Brazier?
Yeah, nothing you can do about that, really. And she had a player on her shoulder as well, so the poor defender's trying to defend one of the best steps in world rugby and the second player. Here she goes. It's just poetry in motion, that step. Twice off the left foot and in under the post.
First represented the Black Ferns, which is the 15-a-side team back in 2009. She's been a regular there, a regular here for the New Zealand Sevens team as well. She was the Rugby World Cup top point scorer in 2010. Of course, she won the Sevens Rugby World Cup in Moscow too in 2013. So there's the halftime score, 21-0. It is New Zealand leading Russia.
Tudo bem?
Como tivemos já anunciamos os confrontos no segundo dia amanhã.
But if we had chop tackled, we probably would have had a better chance of going for the ball. So just those first up tackles, if we can chop them, we go from there. As you can see, they'll hold us further. As long as we're going to hold on to the ball and then it's going to start from there. Awesome freedom here, taking the space. That's what we've been doing, right? Just do the simple things well. Keep coming forward on teams that got it. Chop tackles, otherwise when you hit the ball, you decide to move it up.
Well, I hope they've got first aid down there because Pavel Baranovsky looks like he's going to have a heart attack.
That might be the most animated or angry I think I've ever seen him in one of those huddles. He does look like he's about to burst a blood vessel. to be fair to this Russian team, there's so many changes from the last tournament, it's hard to keep your shape, and they're missing really key players. Kunanova has been their standout playmaker for such a long time. If you take somebody like that out of the mix, it makes things really difficult. And they're up against a team playing, you know, at the height of their powers compared to how they played in Dubai, New Zealand. They just dashed well.
Yeah, they're looking calm again and very convicted, aren't they? Very assured of their pattern and their structure. Williams, she's made some good progress since she's debuted in Dubai. Goss is chasing. Zdrokova takes it, but look at that ruck from New Zealand. Won that easily. Brazier again. Just playing on that advantage line. Here's Tui. Nice transition. Nathan Wong. Broughton's on. And if you've got Brazier on one side, you've got Broughton on the other. The two Bs have just been fantastic today.
The stepping ability in the team, absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Gail Broughton looked up. There was no overlap, nothing like that. She just thought, right, well, I'll create it myself then. Just a little step, and another one. Offers the ball up one-handed. It doesn't need to make the pass because she's in.
And poor old Fata Simpkins, she's been hanging out waiting for a pass, and if it's not Broughton, it's McAllister. She never gets it. And kicking on song. 28-0 now.
Quickly.
Yeah, they'll be quite keen to beat the gap from the score in Dubai, New Zealand, I think.
The only problem is if you end up top into the quarters, you might end up playing Fijiana. We know that they can actually upset any team. We'll wait and see how that plays out.
Stay.
Broughton nearly offside. Russia now passing it, but that defence at outside in D from Ruby Tui stopped Lushina in her tracks. Looked right. Shemshak there, been held up. Eventually goes down. Just in sixes and sevens here. Lushina now. Trying hard to break that line, but doing it individually, and it turns out a penalty for New Zealand. So Brazier takes it quickly, dummies Tui, gets a nice wide ball out to Tubic, and Tubic's come off the bench, reached out, popped over, and there's another 5 points.
Yeah, we saw earlier Brazier's brilliant sidestep. There we saw her vision. She realised that the defence was in tight, so put the wide pass past a couple of players out to Tubic. An easy finish for Tubic once she gathered it.
Tubic played for Counties Manukau Nationals in New Zealand recently. She's a very versatile player, can play in the backs and forwards. Let's see if she can go 100%. Oh, looking good. And it is, so perfect so far. The young Tyler Nathan Wong converts 35-0 now. And she'll leave the pitch on 100%.
Thank you.
Conversions do definitely count when it comes to close matches, we know that.
Just the importance of accurate kicking in sevens helps you to regain your kickoffs, and those extra 2 points can make all the difference. Not in this game, though.
So Russia deep, once again pushed back. They're trying their hearts out. This promising here, and it's Zdrokova. Zdrokova on the outside. Is Fata Simpkins going to be able to reel her in? No, and that is the speed that Baranowski was talking about for the young debutante. She's made her mark in this match and broken the New Zealand defensive line.
Good for Zdrokova. We've been waiting for it all day, haven't we? We talked about it right up front that she's got pace. We didn't know how much pace she had. We do know, though, that Katerina Fata Simpkins has pace. She couldn't catch her. Great finish pretty tired there.
Just 19 years old. So keep an eye on her for the future, now and beyond. She's made it up to 5 points to 35. Temperatures still soaring on the sideline there for Peronowski.
Looks like he's been out in the sun a little bit too long, doesn't he?
He looks a little calmer. Who knows who he's talking to? Deep kick put in there, Tui underneath. Gets it out to trusty playmaker Brazier. Beats 2. Nice short ball to Manuel. Manuel's line straight through the middle. She saw there was nothing but open space in front of her. And great way to come on off the bench, Juliana Manuel.
Lovely to see Brazier and Manuel linking up. Again, Manuel's been out a long time, but how many times have we seen the two of them linking up? It was Brazier's step through the gap and then the offload to Manuel, who cut the line off her like any good 15 centre that she is would, and showed that she's still got that pace.
She certainly did. But really her ability to know when to time the hit, isn't it? It's lovely. Fada Simpkins takes over conversion duties. Unable to get it through the post, so 35-point advantage for New Zealand. And number 2's the kick. If I remember rightly, that goes to Sarah Goss's side.
Right.
Let's see if I'm right.
Let's see if you're right.
Is she still on?
I'm not sure she is. I know what you mean.
Ah, goes
There
to
you
the
go.
left. We'll work it out. So good chase on, but Gavula takes the pressure. Just looking once again to shovel bad passes.
Yeah, Russia really passing in desperation now, just want to move the ball away.
So nearly finished this final pool game for both Russia and New Zealand. Can they finish off with a spark, the Russians? Big hit coming in there from the big shoulders of McAllister. Somehow Russia absorbed that because they're tough. That's why Fefelofa gets it out to Gavula. Gavula, well, she's put in a big run here, but who's chasing? Ruby Tui. Good fitness, makes another tackle too. How fantastic was that defence? Russia still have it. Can they make this try? Yes, because they've given it to the speedster Zadrokova at the end. So created a very good finish, didn't they, Russia? Talk about guts.
I half expected Ruby Tui to pop up with the third tackle there on Zadrokova, but great heart from Russia, great heart from them, pushing all the way to the end. Ruby Tui does everything she possibly can to stop the scoring. Amazing that she got up to make that second tackle. But Zadrokova so pleased with that, kisses the ball, plants it down. Great heart from the Russians.
That kick askew. So, another fantastic performance there from New Zealand, and plenty of guts and heart from Russia too. The Kiwis take it 40 points to 10.